Yes, people, welcome back to Lion in the Room, and how are we all doing? I say like this has been a mixed bag starting the new year. Happy New Year to all of you. I am your host, Leo, and I got my boy, K.
Hey guys, what's up? How you doing? You all right?
Great vibes over here, man. Please, people, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you enjoy our videos, please pass them on to a friend, because the whole point of this podcast is to inspire, to remind you of your genuine individuality and your purpose in this life. Of course, with some laughs. But hey, I want to introduce a special guest of mine. He's a very good friend. I've known him for a while. I'd say baller, chill guy all around. Hey, you got to be careful what you're listening to when you're around him. Welcome, my boy Jace. Welcome to the podcast, man.
Nice to be here.
Of course.
It's a very great opportunity to see you after 3-4 long years.
It's been a while, bro.
Yeah.
Since the lockdown, actually. In the lockdown.
Wait, it's been that long?
Yeah. If you remember, there was a time that we all were chilling.
Yeah.
Like, we went over to his accommodation and then went home. Like, bro, that was 2021. It's been a while.
That's so weird.
It's been a while. But welcome to the podcast, Jace. Honestly, because it's such a great feeling to have you on. It brings back feelings of nostalgia because we all used to hang out together, from playing ball to either going down to each other's houses, bro, going to parties once or twice. It's such a lovely experience when you think about it, and it's lovely to have you on the podcast. But hey, man, let me not boost your ego too much. Give us an opportunity to get to know you again. Give the audience an opportunity to get to know you for the first time.
So my name is Iason, but for those who cannot pronounce that, it's Jason or Jace.
Well, we're gonna try that because you've never actually told us.
I mean, my whole name is, my baptized name is Iason.
Iasonas.
Yes, exactly.
Iasonas.
That's very good, actually. That's very good.
Yeah, because he messed up Panos' name the last one. Panayotis.
I mean, that's harder to pronounce.
Yeah.
Iasonas is way simpler.
Iasonas. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, my name is Iason. I'm 24. I'm currently doing my master's in a faraway village called Exeter.
Oh, you're in the University of Exeter.
Exeter.
Yes.
I kept on saying Essex. I thought you were in Essex, bro. Gee.
No, it's very, very different. Exeter. Very, very different.
Hey, bro. XE.
To be fair, I was confusing it in the beginning.
He didn't even know where he was. Carry on, my bro.
So yeah, I've known Leo for the past 4 years. He's a great guy. He has some great dance moves. That was actually the way we got to meet each other.
Yeah, of course, bro. At the Reading Ball. The Freshers Ball. That's
Freshers
what they called
Ball,
it. The
yeah.
Freshers Ball. I came out looking spiff, bro. I got like this blazer from Marks and Spencer, like a nice tuxedo jacket. It was like a really light blue. I'd probably call it like a teal. And I went with one of my other friends, Tommy. We head down to this party and he starts to mingle with other people. I've had a few drinks, so I start to mingle as well. So I'm just dancing, bro. And I meet this bunch of Greek guys. Jace, Panos, other guys as well. And we're just vibing, bro. We're trying to also probably send each other's socials or whatever. But before you know it, I'm gone. I go off and I'm chilling with the next group. And that's how I met Chidi as well, because I met Chidi at that same party.
No, but Chidi was hanging with us.
Really? It was
Yes.
with you guys? You see, I don't even remember. All I know is that I was there, then I was gone, and then I met some other people. I was collecting snaps before I knew what it meant to be bait. Like, I was picking up snaps, bro, like it was nothing. And weeks after, people are, yo, Leo, what you saying, Leo? But when I say like Jace, Panos, there's Lucas, Roberto, like those were my friends. Like, geez, bro, it's been so long, and it's great to know that we still have a good friendship. Like, I really actually appreciate you coming onto the podcast, bro, because we tried to do this last year.
Yeah, but
We tried to do this last year.
last year I was still in Greece. I was like, I had just finished the army because I had to do my military service. Yeah, I went like for 1 year military service.
Okay, the mandatory like youth service.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically like NYSC.
It's probably Are you allowed to talk about the experience? You're not allowed.
Yeah,
You can?
yeah. don't
Hey,
worry
bro,
about it.
give us a little insight
So
on it.
the thing is, this might sound controversial for a lot of people, but it's a waste of time.
Mm.
It's a complete waste of time. If you actually have some like plans for your life and you're trying to do something, wasting 1 year being told what to do and getting paid, listen to this and please don't laugh. €7 a month?
What?
Yes.
Well,
Wouldn't it be less insulting if you were paid nothing? Let's say let's say it's a mandatory service. It's volunteering.
yeah.
So not volunteering, it's mandatory. But instead of saying I'm gonna pay you €7 per month, instead of telling you you have to do this for 9 months, and if you have anything, we're gonna feed you, we're gonna give you clothes, blah blah, which they do in the army. But the money exchange was a bit insulting, I think.
Yeah.
I guess
Because
like
it's not livable. You can't live off it. It's not feasible. It's more of a joke.
yeah, €7 a month.
€7.
You're
a
not
month.
joking.
And I checked the legislation about it. It was €350 per person, but they take off things like food they offer you, the army clothing, and then they take that off your wage, and they give you 7 to 9 per month.
Might as well go
And
buy
what can
ice
you?
cream and then
Yeah, what can you do with that?
Nothing. Most people that I know gambled it directly. Hit their bankroll, literally went online like slots.
I mean, like to be fair, bro, bro, make that little money bigger
try
because
something. Like,
that's wow. And you know, Greece isn't the only country that recall, or not really recall people, but have people enlist in the army or at least prepare them for war times. You know, South Korea, like Hyung-Min Sung, Tottenham player, had to go back or possibly did. Jan Antetokounmpo, he went back. A few other different people have gone.
He went only for like a couple months.
Couple months, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it is when you're a celebrity.
They made
bro.
so many memes about it. Like, they were like, dear commander, I am here for 2 months, but then I have to go have a game with Lakers. And they were trying to make all these memes about Giannis. But trust me, it's even for a guy that lived in Greece and grew up in Greece, I think it's more important to understand that his dedication to go to the Greek army, even if he's not Greek, because he suddenly became famous, let's be honest. And they literally recognize him as Greek because he became famous.
Exactly. If he wasn't famous, it'd kind of be like, well, Nigerian, Greek basketball
Exactly.
or
yeah.
that is true. But you guys, I feel like Greece, although, you know, I feel like a lot of places anyways, they have this, we call it eye service, you know, like, oh, he's a big guy now. We can get some lucrative stuff from it, you know. But at the end of the day, there is a bit of love because he does show some love. He does show a lot of love for the country. He's been playing for the national team anyways. He could be like anyone else and say like, yo.
I agree completely. Because the whole community, like people love Giannis. But I'm saying politicians who did not recognize him as Greek until
when
he became famous.
and
Exactly.
successful. Then they're now recognizing him. Okay, he's Greek. Because like a lot of people will sometimes argue this like online. If you say Giannis is Nigerian, they will flat.
They
out
say like,
tell
no,
you,
he's Greek.
No, he's Greek.
But I would say he's Nigerian first. I see. That's the one thing that I want to believe people should be looking at. You know, culture sometimes can be very individual in a sense where you have one culture. Like we're both Nigerian, but I was born in the UK. If I wanted to embrace two different kinds of culture, I can. But then you would have people asking, well, which culture do you prefer? Why do I have to tell you what I prefer? Like at the end of the day, you're going to have preferences towards a particular culture, whether it's the food or the dressing or the lifestyle. And to some others, you may not like the other as much. But hey, I feel like Giannis as a person, he's a celebrity. He's definitely got like a PR team, bro. He's definitely like handled that the best way he can. Like shit, bro. We're not following his page every day. But it's something that happens all over the world. But hey, man, all that aside, talk to us about your life, bro. Like, I don't really want to ask you what it's like growing up in Greece, but I want to ask you to compare, you know, growing up in Greece to growing up as an adult in the UK, at least while you were studying.
In the UK.
Okay. Because
What differences and comparisons you got?
I thought you were going to say growing up in the UK, and I was like, I say, I don't know.
You didn't do nothing. It's 4
so,
years of studying.
Okay, I wasn't lucky enough to fall, during COVID because I was here from 2019 to 2022, and amidst that there was COVID. So 1.5 to 2 years were wasted on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
However, I think it's a very maturing experience, especially when you go away from home. I know you're like were born in the UK, so you're raised here, but people
Oh, I
that
wasn't actually. I actually wasn't. No,
you said that you were born in the UK.
I was
I
okay.
remember that you travel like for a long time back,
Mhm.
but I don't remember you.
Okay, so a little quick one. I'll just let you know. Like, so I was born in the UK. I was born in Scotland, Aberdeen, but I was raised in Nigeria my whole life. Like 17 years, I was in Nigeria, and I guess like for most of my childhood, I only have maybe like a few memories of when I was in the UK, but they were all like traveling during holidays or like when my siblings were being born, but most of the memories that I remember were all in Nigeria. Like,
Really?
yeah, bro, yeah.
I thought you were like you were born here, you raised up to a specific age, you went back and then you came back.
Oh no, man, I got a really good accent, so you're never gonna know. But like, I lived my whole life in Nigeria, like Port Harcourt. I'm Nigerian first before I'm British. Doesn't mean anything in terms of comparisons or what I prefer, but it's just kind of like if I had to give you a time lapse. I was in Nigeria. I went to all like high school in Nigeria as well. And it was when I graduated, still stayed an extra year, started working as a teacher's assistant, and then I came to the UK. I've been here since.
Okay,
So
fair enough.
carry on, my friend.
Fair enough. So going back to the UK Greece experience, Greece is different when it comes to um, interacting with people because here people are more open minded, but at the same time, it they're a bit too open minded.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're a bit sensitive and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
In Greece, it's because it's a traditional country and it's part of the Balkans, and it's a country where there aren't so many cultures, like in contrast to, sorry, compared to the UK. You have a lot of people that understand that this is their way of living. Like they don't go astray of that. They think like some things are strange, extraordinary. They won't see people wearing a specific color outside, like all like green up, and they will comment on that directly.
Mm-hmm.
But here in the UK, people might dress however they want, do whatever they want, and they will seem less strange because it's gonna be like 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10. In Greece, it's gonna be like 1 out of 1,000.
Yeah, you know, that little 0.5, 0.01%. I do kind of get that because it's also quite kind of similar in Niger, bro. Like, there's a particular way everyone normally dresses. And then you find a person dressing completely different to the norm. And a lot of people are quick to be like, look at that guy. See what that guy's wearing. Oh, why is that guy acting like that? And people start to either comment on it, you know, make their own decisions on it, or, you know, if they go as far as shaming that person negatively and all those little things like that. Like, hey, you get where I'm coming from. Like,
Yeah, I think because okay, I can give a bit of a personal example here. Right?
imagine a guy just starts wearing, you know, bomb shorts with the fucking
You know what? They already do that.
like
in
yeah,
Lagos.
you know
They already,
the ripped bomb shorts, bro. Initially, I'm not speaking to like a particular whatever people call it, you know, your sexual orientation or whatever. But when you see a person dressing in an unusual manner, and when I use the word unusual in a sense where it
It's not
is
seen every day.
alien, exactly. It's not seen every day, it's alien to society. You will have people questioning, you know, that's normal, that's human nature. Humans always kind of question that thing. So I'm not surprised to hear that it's quite similar for you back in your home country. When you say Balkans, are you speaking of like Balkan Islands, the Balkan Islands, or what is that like a particular region in Greece?
No. Balkan. There's not Balkan Islands. I'll explain. But first, I'm very interested in hearing K's example.
Okay,
Thank
go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so I used, growing up in Nigeria, it's like you have your particular hairstyles that you do, low cut, shaved, or
That's all.
afro, or just
That's
a bit
all.
of afro. If
What do you mean a bit of afro? That's
too
all.
much is like seen as, but if you're in school, it's shaved. Nothing about it. They don't care. Shaved.
All right.
They will call it Gurimakpo or something like that. Yeah.
Molo.
Can I remind you of a thing?
What was it?
You're gonna completely make fun of me. Do you remember that I had colored hair?
Yeah, that little red hair.
Yeah,
stuff,
I remember. I think you
you
did.
and the
That's when we
Kinder.
were,
Yeah.
when we were
Who
playing
made you do
ball
that? Was
back
that your choice?
It was my choice, but it was more of I had already done like once half of my hair blonde before I came to the UK, and I didn't care about it not that much.
Yeah.
And I remember if going back to the traditional part of Greece, I remember my father telling me, you need to dye your hair your natural color again, otherwise you're gonna get bad grades from your professors. That's what my father told me literally before I came here. But apart from that, I understand because he has a different age. He's 72 years old. He's more traditional. That's like during his high school years and everything. They were very strict about how you dress, what are your manners inside
Like
class.
representation, isn't it?
Exactly. Your whole image was very strict. Your whole representation should have been very strict. So when I came here and I saw this whole like environment and openness and everything, and I was with at the time I think with my first girlfriend in the UK.
In McKinder.
Yes.
Yeah, we
Exactly.
were all in McKinder.
Yeah, I was
You
like,
were in Dunstan.
Yes, Dunstan. Yeah, y'all suck.
Dunstan Crescent.
Don't hate on. But look. Yeah, I came in January. By the time I checked the accommodation, my kinder was full. Child's was full. I had no other option.
They slapped this guy in Dunstan Crescent, bro.
this
It was either that or what's that other place called? Windsor.
okay.
If you
fair
went
enough.
in Windsor, you would have met more people though.
What was the one that was literally outside campus?
They were like
No, the one that was like behind
Pat's.
St. Pat's.
St. Pat's.
Okay, do you want me? This is gonna sound very, very racist.
Go ahead.
I literally called for the rest of my life St. Pat's a concentration center.
Why is St.
Because there were mixed showers for 18 people.
Oh yeah, you know the mixed showers.
They had-
That's why I stayed away from Windsor. It's the same thing.
I called it literally concentration because
Well,
it was
yeah,
like
yeah.
one mini fridge for 14 people.
It's the same thing with Windsor. Like, cause I went there one time. There was like, I can't remember how many doors down. I'd say 8 on each side.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
Like
Like
16.
16,
Should have stayed in Windsor.
Exactly 16. There's the kitchen. All 16 have to share that. And then there's the bathroom. There's only 2 bathrooms. So 8 people will share
Mixed.
one
Mixed.
bathroom.
And the people would have to walk with their robes all the way there. Which is completely fine. Been to the army, been to basketball teams. I don't mind that. But I wouldn't just being disgusted out of it.
I came out of secondary school, bro. I am not doing that again. Like,
Exactly.
why do I have to do that
had
again?
go. That's why I picked Dunstan Crescent, because like I had my own.
Yeah, private bathroom.
Exactly, I had my own private bathroom. That's why.
Yeah, same here. I think like my kinder was
My kinder
pretty
is
decent.
studio. You know, it was en suite. Sorry.
And
My kinder was also
studios. I don't think the university.
No,
had any
university ain't got no.
I remember
studios, sorry.
one guy. I don't. Did you ever meet David? It was one more Mauritius guy.
What?
Your name's David, nigga.
Yes, my name is David.
Yeah,
They call
I
me
have
K.
met David.
Like it was.
They call me K on the
It was one guy from Mauritius that he, I don't know, got his room very early in the selection, and he got a corner room, and his room was two to three times our size. He was paying the same money,
Damn.
and it was insane.
Yeah, I think that's.
Imagine what the contractors are just thinking. Imagine what they were thinking when they
They're
finished
like,
that room.
10 more square meters. Fuck
No,
it.
not even that. It was like, oh, damn. That guy's going to be in this room. He's going to love this shit, bro.
Yeah, I think that's just the rooms were. Is this in McKinder or?
McKinder.
No. That wasn't my kind. It was what was the main building above the reception?
Windsor.
That's
Windsor.
Oh, I knew a guy as well, bro. This guy.
Chidi also lived there.
Chidi didn't have a big room, bro.
Chili got lucky. Big.
His room was chill, but it wasn't that big. He had some chill friends. He had some chill flatmates in that
also
little
lived in
section
Windsor
there.
as well.
Renee was in Windsor, but yeah, everyone had their own experience, man. But there was this guy. It was during my foundation before I met you, and before I met you as well.
Yeah.
So
I knew this guy. We used to play FIFA with him so much. Turn your notifications off.
I will. You know how Greek moms be right now.
Yeah.
It's like, do you get home now? Safe. Sorry for that.
No, it's fine. So, we used to play FIFA with this guy. And he had a big room, bro. Had a balcony as well. Like it was a small balcony, but he had a balcony. And we were like, bro, where do you find balconies on Windsor in Windsor?
How do you find balconies in the UK,
brother? I don't know, but his room was big, bro. I remember that was the first time I slept in a sleeping bag. Yeah, for some reason he had sleeping bags in his room, and one of my guys was like, "Oh yeah, no, use the sleeping bag." I was like, "I should use the sleeping bag." He's like, "Yeah, bro, it's cool." And I slept in the sleeping bag. My mom in the morning calling me like, "Bro, where are you? Like, why aren't you in your room?" This house with my friends. But nah, man, his room was big enough. Whew, I feel like some places just have different spaces for different people. But
I need to remind you that I co-lived in my room.
You go on?
I was sharing my room with my girlfriend. We were living in one room. She had her own room in Kendrick's, but because
well, it's your girlfriend.
Huh? I knew a guy, right? My flatmate. His name was Dragon. Yes,
his name was Dragon.
Yes, yes. Now he's from China, but like
he had a mohawk as well, right?
I think
he had like a long ponytail, like mohawk.
Yeah, he did.
His name was Dragon. He was from China. His parents had some gifts or something. Definitely.
The rough translation to his name was Dragon.
Oh, fair enough.
Obviously, wasn't like a name. You know how Nigerian names have a meaning. So the rough translation was Dragon. So we just called him Dragon. He lived in Childs with me, so he also co-lived with his girlfriend. But it's like, in cases like that, it's really easy to do. Like people can do it.
It's easy when it comes to co-living with someone because you already do the stuff we're going to do in the like tight space
with someone who's in your personal space already.
But if you need your space at any certain point, like you say, I want to take a break from this.
Go out.
Not like a physical break, but a mental break. I want to like say, for now, I'm just gonna chill on my laptop or something like that. There are some type of relationships that do not tolerate that. They're gonna tell you you're playing too much.
That's toxic, bro. Like, see, like you get into a relationship. At the end of the day, truthfully, you have time for yourself and your partner, and then you have time for yourself. Your life is not your relationship, and a lot of people that get into situations like that then become uninteresting towards their partners because you're seeing them all the time. They're giving you all that attention. At some point, you don't want all that attention. You want to do your own thing. So I kind of understand that, but at the same time, I find it hard to reason with people that feel like, oh, I'm here, so that attention has to be given to me. Like, I got other stuff to do. Like, you're not gonna take 5 hours of my day just because you're here, and I might want to relax playing video games or try doing some homework or even just go lie down, and you want me to. I feel like that's kind of selfish from some people, but in different kind of relationships here, you try and make different kind of things work. But I feel like I got my time, and it's not bad for me to have my time. I'm not saying like my girl's not important, but I have to have my time. That's why it's me.
I think that's just a basic prerequisite for all relationships, and anybody that disagrees is probably maybe in a codependent relationship. Because obviously, yes, you have your partner, you guys are cool, whatever, even if you're married, but at the end of the day, it's always important to have like your own just shared time to one another, like yourselves,
Yeah, of course.
Okay, to be completely honest, at that point in my life, I was a bit like excited. Let's say that I was co-living with someone like that. So I was instigating her to stay longer.
Yeah, I get it.
But after a certain amount of time, I realized
after
that
like the excitement wears off,
exactly.
Like,
Which it was a big hit at that point. I remember like Chidi dragging me with Panos too. No, not Chidi. Panos with another guy were dragging me to my apartment because I was after a breakup. I was like. I drank so much.
Oh, jeez, man.
But I stopped drinking after that.
Really?
Yeah.
That's good, man. You realize some things push you to do a lot of crazy stuff you don't want to do, man. But it's good to know that you've come out of that. Now, I wanted to ask you guys, based off of, start of the new year being the 11th of January, like 2 weeks in now.
Early.
What are your plans? Do you guys have New Year resolutions? Because I feel like I've not pushed away the concept of a New Year's resolution, but I feel like I just have an opportunity to continue the resolutions I've already had or written down. So what does this new year mean for you guys? Do you symbolize anything? Is there anything you're trying to crack down on? Okay, talk to me.
Okay, good. Good, good. Let's not say the wrong thing this time. Okay, so the first thing, New Year's resolution. I wouldn't call it a New Year's resolution. Personally, I don't even like using the term. I think everyone does.
Yeah.
So, first thing, I want to get closer in my face to God. I got baptized. Was it 3 weeks now?
It's been 3 weeks.
Yeah, I got baptized some time back in December. And so I just think, okay, yes, I'd like to get closer in my relationship to God. And another thing I would like is to stream Marvel Rivals consistently.
I probably need to hop on with you. I've
Yeah,
You're a
downloaded the game
streamer.
as well.
yeah, I'm so inconsistent with streaming. The
I am
most
Davey. I think that's the thing. I am
Yes.
Davey.
You see, get the
Nice.
good boys. But the most I've ever had like in the stream is 83 people.
That's
Which is
It was-
good.
I was happy.
How long have you been streaming for?
2 years,
Really?
3.
When did you start?
Why have you never told me this?
Because you were never around.
You never
Okay,
around.
okay,
You went to go get milk.
Exactly, and you never came back.
okay. Don't project right now. Don't be projecting right now.
That's gotta be racist.
Carry on.
Fair enough. He started.
Yeah, I know. I'm just kidding.
Carry on.
But yeah, I want to, stream more consistently this time. Like after this episode, I'm gonna try and stream. Like I'm just gonna try and stream. And then I want to make more money than I did last year.
Amen.
Amen to that. And let me think. I want to make a decision on where my life will go very early.
Now your baptism. Everybody has a reason for doing something, but what does your baptism mean to you?
My baptism is simply just is like when they come on WWE and do like an open challenge, like say you got a belt, yeah, you just like anyone that wants to fight me, come and do it. So that's Stone Cold Steve Austin in case
for
you
real?
didn't know.
For real?
Yeah, it is.
I did not know.
Well, you see, it's very iconic. So for me, my baptism was just like declaring, like, yes, guys, if you are ever wondering, I am a Christian. I believe in Christ. I choose to follow God.
Mhm.
Look, I'm not gonna do it perfectly. Like, no one is perfect, and I think that was one of the things that was always keeping me from like at least putting an effort. Obviously, I'm never gonna be able to do it perfectly. That's just the end of it, really. And if you have so much to say about it, look at yourself.
Of
But
course.
yes, so the baptism was just like a declaration. I am a Christian and I'm going to actually put an effort and try.
That's
And
good.
that was it.
That's really good.
That's
man.
nice. That's very nice.
Baptism has always kind of been a
Clarity moment.
yeah, I would definitely say so. And metaphorically, and even anything, if anything, spiritually and physically, washing away of sins.
Yeah.
Starting afresh, if anything. And I praise you for it, honestly, because being able to recognize that the world is the way it is, but for you as your own person, you are seeking your own truth. To me, honestly, it is the truth.
Mm.
But for you to come to God and say, I want to follow you, and you're working on it, anybody can do that, but you just continue to try. And yeah, man, big ups and praises to you for going into that path of your life.
Appreciate it.
Talk to us, Jace. What does the start of this new year mean for you? Do you have any plans? It never really has to be a huge thing, but as long as you have ambitions for yourself, I feel like that's a good way to start.
I'm gonna start in a bit weird way because the first
why are you gonna make it weird?
I have to make it weird. Like, look, the first thing my parents told me, like the New Year's Eve, we're in a restaurant, right? And they told me, "Oh, Happy New Year's." And the first thing that came to my mind, because a friend wished me like that, like last year, was like happy rotation of a big rock around a star. That's what I told them, because literally years timing and something like that is just rotations of the Earth around the sun.
Hmm.
So coming back to this, which is I'm not trying to become like all scientific and stuff like that. I'm just trying to say that I lost sense of time for a couple of years now, and I'm trying to see that every moment that slips up, it's a moment that slips up.
Yeah.
I don't mind if it's 2024 in the calendar or 2025.
Mm.
It's important to be consistent in what you're doing and consistently trying to progress in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I want to make that a tattoo on myself, and I've been trying to do that for a while now, but I haven't been consistent with the gym. So going back at it, what I would like to do this year, to just to keep it simple, it would be to continue on this path where I am right now with my masters, and I have this philosophy that the more you work on yourself and you don't let like yourself live in a specific routine, the more you'll end up finding or getting closer to success. That means that you don't have to do anything per day. You don't have to like every single day be consistent with everything. Like, discipline is a very hard thing to have.
Mm-hmm.
But just me getting better at studying, in contrast to my bachelor's,
Yeah.
doing my master's, or me stopping this old addiction I had with video games and be more consistent with my own research, with my
Mm-hmm.
podcasts, with finance, everything. Something that actually helps your mind grow is something enough for me to consider it as my resolution.
That's good. I think that's really good, man, because I see I see growth, like being able to look back at previous years and saying to yourself, I made a mistake here, I made a mistake there, I did great here, I did great here, not so well here, but there's room for improvement.
Mm.
Coming into the new year, regardless of how you feel about it, whether you feel like it's just another day, whether you feel like it's truly a new year, because damn bro, happy new year. I go to bed, I wake up, it feels like Wednesday. That's all it
Yeah.
is.
That's
That's
that's why I brought up the example with the rock and the
Mhm.
stuff. It doesn't matter because it's another day.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
another
So
day.
you just have to keep going, and consistency is what will show your hard work. Because as you consistently go, it doesn't mean, oh, every day, every hour, every minute, but you are actively making progress or making space or time for you to be better. You will gradually see improvement, man. And that's a lovely thing. Being able to come back to God, the Creator, being able to say, I want to follow Christ, being able to say, I want to be better in my own life. I want to look at my past and say, that is the past and I've grown from it is lovely. For me, I want to be able to I want to see what I haven't seen. I feel like there's a lot of stuff in my childhood that I've forgotten because I've always looked on the negatives in life.
Mm.
But I want to be able to embrace the things I enjoy. When I make Lego, that's me at my most creative. In a sense like that, when I'm doing this podcast, that's when I feel really creative and I just love that. I want to be able to find that again because I'm doing all these things now, but I still feel like there's a part of me, or there's people be talking like that, oh, there's a part of me I haven't unlocked. There's a part of me that I feel I haven't reached, or
Mm.
like back in my life that I haven't been able to confront. It's like it's a big mental thing, but I just want to be better. I want to be able to be better. I want to improve my work with God, my walk with God. I want to look at my past and leave it in the past and focus on today, tomorrow, things like that. I want to be happy and I want to know how to weather the storm, you know? So 2025 is going to be a great year for us. 2025 is going to be a great year for you. So hold on tight because we will be back after the break.
Okay, Jace, welcome back. Welcome back. We're back, guys. So Jace, I just wanted to ask you. So with culture, obviously, there's differences in cultures between the two places that you've been.
Mm-hmm.
You coming from Greece, you coming from the UK. I just wanted to find out. This might be a bit of a generic question, but I just want to hear your answer. Then I'll get into the main one. So, How is it adjusting to the culture shock when you come here? Because I understand from Greece is a bit more traditional than the UK is liberal. So I just wanted to ask, how do you adjust in that sense?
I mean, my mindset was already a bit like liberalish because I am very laid back as a person. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't same thing Greece.
Mm-hmm.
That's why though that was came with the example that I colored my hair and in Greece and here, so I didn't care about that much. However, it's way too different when it comes to people's attention.
Mm-hmm.
Like people in Greece judge, as I said, but here they are accepting everyone to an extreme point that they start, I think, hurting their own society.
Yeah.
I think they're accepting things way too much, so that people that start having opinions are suddenly becoming actively um, judging others. If I say, for example, that looks weird, suddenly someone will come to me and will tell me that you're being too dramatic, or because they're being oversensitive. And I think that's a big cultural like shock I had between the like, Balkans, which by the way is like a lot of European countries,
Mm-hmm.
but from the east side, and to the UK people.
Okay, okay, okay. So I think you've already answered the question that I was about to ask. So in terms of like versus traditional and then the liberal, do you feel like each of these as an extreme have their own negative parts in which it kind of hurts a human being's development?
Mm.
Yes, definitely, definitely, because people tend to become more sensitive
Mm.
when you tell them that everything is all right, everything is okay, you can express yourself however you want to, but and you protect them from everyone expressing their own opinion. In Greece, bullying is not a bad thing, and I completely agree with this. Like bullying made people more disciplined, tougher. I had coaches in basketball
Mm-hmm.
that were talking to me and they're telling me the only thing you're good at, or you would be good at, would be giving away tickets for in a cinema because my defense was bad or something. If I didn't,
2 tickets, please. Two
yeah,
tickets,
because I was
please.
standing still on the defense, and if I hadn't like listened like those hard words, I wouldn't be able to get more discipline to that part. And here, people just having everyone babysitting them and saying it's fine, or like pampering them.
Yeah.
It's hurting the society and like in upcoming society, upcoming generations, because parents will learn how to pamper their own kids.
Yeah. I think I agree with you in some form where it like each side has its own like negatives in the same way. So with how like okay here it can be like it can be a bit pampering. People can become a bit pampered, whereas like okay when they're now put in certain situations that they were kind of shielded from, they kind of crumble under the pressure,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to say in a more traditionalist is more less like they don't always pamper. But on the other hand of it, on the offhand of it, it can be a bit more. It can be the word I'm looking for is to say there's someone who's not particularly okay. I'll use Nigeria for example. In Nigeria, it's like in some parts, like it's getting better now, but like with some parts, it's like if you aren't good at academics, you're just seen as a complete idiot and a waste of space and resources to some people. But the thing with that is like I get the structure, and we've mentioned this on a previous episode before. We're taking someone through the tried and true method and tested method, but I still think that at the same time there should be a creation where it's like there's a bit more room for someone to express themselves, for someone to, maybe do something that's a bit more creative and less academic.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas opposed to here is it's encouraged a lot more. It's like okay, you want to do this, try it. You want to do that, try it. But the thing with that being is like sometimes it might be you might be in situations where you're encouraged to go head first into something without any backup plan. So it's like say you did try it and it didn't work out, what do you do now? You don't have a backup plan. You might as well be like almost kind of finished in a sense. So it's like with cultures, around the world, because it's like a lot of countries also have that more traditionalist, mentality. It's usually
Mm.
seen as coming from like the West, where it's like, where it's liberal, but a lot of other countries is more traditionalist, which is something I think we've mentioned as well with partners. Is like there's similarities in which in people's upbringings, despite them coming from different parts of the world.
Of course, I get that, but I want to also add that the countries that we're in right now, like the UK, the US, the West, these countries that are described as liberal, you guys would define that for me, because I want to imagine that that's kind of just these are people that are open to a new way of life.
Mm.
Cool. With the UK being, like the center of attention, like places like the US and stuff like that, that is kind of like the focus point, because we're not gonna act as though these things are not also in our own home countries.
Mm.
Like we do have people that want to break the norm.
Yeah.
And this is not people doing it to inspire others or to inspire some form of improvement or general achievements. These are people that want to live life as they see fit. And we are now in a society where people are no longer willing to
You
kind
can just
of,
say it. People are lazy.
yeah, no, of course people are lazy, but aside from, laziness, there is a lack of individuality, there's a lack of identity, and people are quick to assume something that is probably completely different. But the issue that, or not really an issue, but the thing that is quite similar to us in terms of where we were brought up,
Mm.
a country like Nigeria is still in the news, is still in the mouths of people and stuff like that. People still talk about the countries, people still talk about Greece, but we know how society receives these things, and you realize a society is quick to judge as it should, normally. And people see that as normal. I really just feel like, I agree with the culture shock thing. You come here and you realize that a lot of people have a particular way of looking at something, and then they feel like you are either over stressing a point or looking at something unfairly. It's really just sorry.
It's just an opinion.
Exactly. It's an opinion and a perspective, because at the end of the day, you're still going to choose to paint your hair, dress however, live your life however, but you cannot expect me or anyone else to stop what I'm doing to acknowledge it or to embrace it. That's not what I'm here to do. Like, truthfully, live your life however, because at the end of the day, you are the master of, your own ship, and you will reap the benefits of all the consequences of however you live your life. Whatever island you're going to, you're the one that's going to live it. Culture, I want to ask you, Jace, obviously there have been culture shocks, but I want to ask you about the things that make up your culture, like the food, like the dressing, attire. Talk to us about, yeah. I just want to know what the whole dressing. I mean, people dress normally, shirt and trouser, but are there any traditional Greek attires, like for festivals, great Greek foods? Because you did say that outside Greece, the food ain't that great. They are trying, but chat to me, bro. Be a
Okay.
little critic.
Okay. So first of all, you need to know that we were voted #1 country for quality of food for 2025.
Really?
Yes.
Really? Now
Yeah.
Greece.
Yeah, Greece.
That's
From
pretty cool.
it was an Atlas rating, I think, something like that. The website's called that. Something like
Okay,
that.
Atlas rating.
But
They must be really good.
the point is that yes, Greece is very diversified when it comes to culture because every single region usually have their own traditional attire.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and because Greece is split into many sub-regions that have their own history and how they responded throughout the war years, and they defended their own villages and their own cities and everything, and they started having their own traditional attire. So you'll see in some islands they have their own traditional attire, some other they have their own, etc., etc. This also goes for like dances as well. They have like specific traditional dances, like or dance routines they have, which comes from different cultural backgrounds.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna lie, we have around 2,000 islands in Greece or something like that. So it's normal for culture to grow differently if you are in the mainland or if you're in an island. Apart from that, food is a very big thing for Greek people. I don't think that many Greeks actually. I think I can guarantee you that there aren't any Greeks that have immigrated to a foreign country and are satisfied with the food there. I can like 100% guarantee you that
No
because
spice.
no, spice is a different subject. Not a lot of Greeks actually like spice
Oh
food.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I love spicy food, but not a lot of Greeks like it. But they don't like the lack of freshness of products or that the quality of olive oil, for example, which for some reason became a big thing. Um, Greek people won't tolerate for less in different countries,
Oh yeah.
and even like the cooking from their mama or something like that.
I want to ask, how do you tell the freshness or the quality of olive oil?
Taste mostly, taste and smell.
What's it taste like?
Um, I don't think it's
It
very
tastes like olive oil, really.
explainable.
We just drinking olive oil.
Like,
Bro.
if you've like grown up in a country and they tell you this is the original olive oil, this is the best quality olive oil, and you do that for the rest of your life, and suddenly you move to another country and they
Mhm.
okay, this is olive oil, and you try it and say I don't like it
Oh yeah.
because your standard is already way too high. I'm kind of, if I'm trying to explain to this another way,
I get that though. I get that.
imagine in Nigeria every single girl is 10 out of 10,
Okay.
and then you move out and they're fives. How are you gonna feel about that? You're gonna be like,
just have
"Hey,
to
they're
leave.
girls." No, they're not girls. They're like,
I'd probably just have to leave. I can't live in these conditions. What is this?
I was gonna say I was gonna compare it to palm oil or something, bro. Like
palm
how-
oil.
Yeah, you know palm oil. You know.
Of course, but I've never used it.
Okay, no, fair enough. I just had to be sure. You know,
Yes.
Kola, you know palm oil.
Yes, I know palm oil.
Yeah.
Do you know palm wine?
Yes, no.
Okay, good.
How will I not know palm wine?
Well, you know what? I've come across some people who actually don't know palm wine.
Yeah, no, because they were born here, though.
Yeah, exactly.
So basically, just like with your olive oil thing, it's like us now. Palm oil is a very crucial ingredient in some of our foods. You would have palm oil that you'd buy back in Nigeria, and you might come here and it's either tasting a little off or it's just not what you expect it to be. I guess the quality of foods do change. When it comes to attire and traditional wear, that's very similar to Nigeria as well, because we have different dialects and different traditional groups in different regions. Every region has their own traditional attire. It also worked as a way of status and diversity, So what part were you from? The Balkans, or did you guys have like a traditional attire as well?
Balkans is literally some countries in the European Union, but it's more like of Eastern countries.
Oh.
Yeah, so like for example, let's say Bulgaria, like North Macedonia, Albania, like Poland, some
Mhm.
those kind of countries are inside the Balkans,
Mm-hmm.
and we are considered a bit rougher than the rest of Europeans
Okay.
because we tend to be less of crybabies.
Okay, y'all are tougher then.
And
I've heard this before.
let tougher from that side of it, but that I cannot. Okay, Italians are also. I don't think they're considered in the Balkans, but I can
They do this
consider
aggressively.
they have the same mentality because the others are more westernized, way too westernized.
I think I get what you mean. So like they're now not geographically speaking, but like obviously in terms of like culture, the opposite of the West would be, obviously the East. Towards the East, it's a bit different. Say, for
Mhm.
example, Russia, like how it's different in Russia versus America.
Yeah.
That whole thing they've been doing for like what 50 years.
Yeah,
now.
but to be fair though, Russia's so close to Asia, bro. There's no way Russia's gonna be.
And Russia is not in the Balkans, but
They're
Some
not in the
Balkan-
Balkans, but
them-
like I get what he's.
Yeah, as an example,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's so much of a difference between those two countries, man.
yeah, and it's like same way, for example, like mainland Asia to more westernized places like Singapore, Hong Kong, etc. It's more traditional.
Mhm.
So for my part, because my mom's originally is from a place called Ioannina in Greece.
Say that again.
Ioannina.
Just give up. I heard it already.
Ioannina. Say it again.
Perfect. No, you said it the first.
Ioannina.
Yes, exactly.
Ioannina. Are you
Yeah.
sure?
Yeah, it's
You might just be making me say some trash right
no,
now.
no. It's like a region in Greece called Ioannina, and it's from a small village called Kopani.
Oh, that's easy.
Kopani.
Kopani.
Kupani.
Exactly. So, in those kind of places, let's say 80 to 90% of the population is literally people above 60, 70,
Okay.
something like that, is that you will understand the actual cultural difference between a country in the Balkans and a country in the rest of Europe.
Mhm.
Because you'll see people not like showing their nieces, grandsons, everyone how to be traditional, how to dance, how to have professional traditional parties,
Mhm.
like with dances, white gowns, red belts, caps,
And they're just-
specific shoes on. Yeah,
They're just kind of, in that way, those people help to preserve the culture,
exactly.
because for them, like, that's not all they know, but they cherish it. And with the youth coming in, the youth need to be able to communicate with such people, because then you see reason to hold on to that culture. Because like, for me as a person, I wouldn't say that my life has been completely sheltered, but my parents definitely exposed us to culture. Our schools exposed us to culture as well. Independence Day, Cultural Day, we would dress up in our particular attires. You would learn a particular dance. You would learn a particular movement that represented that was part of your tribe or your ethnic group. That's what we call them, anyways. So that's really nice, bro. I really feel like it's something that people need to be able to do. Preserving culture is very important, but at the same time, you also need to find your way of embracing it, because some people really, 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 really love the food. Some people really, really, really love the choreography. Some people vibe with the music. There's always going to be something that you prefer, you know? So I want to ask you, Jace, is there anything about your culture that you dislike or you feel could be different? Because come on, you might love everything, bro. Patriotic.
Okay, we have a different word for someone being over patriotic. It's
Oh
like
yeah,
being, because in Greece, a nation is called an ethnos.
ethnos.
Yeah. So being an ethnist, or like an ethnicist, I don't know how to say it correctly. It's not
Mhm.
actually a
You got it
word.
right though. Yeah.
It's being overly a patriot, like an extremist kind of patriot.
Mhm.
Mm.
But I don't agree with those kind of people at all, because that means that they put the country above everyone else, and they say every other country is not worth
Oh,
it.
radical violence and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's an aside.
So one thing I think Greece does wrong in general is that they're trying to pass the culture to younger generations, but they're doing it in a very boring or more degrading way, because they are having, for example, in PE courses, they have the choreography sometimes, something like that, but they will the teachers will not show interest, or like
Mhm.
during history the teachers will not show interest, and that happens in a lot of schools because there are assigned teachers that were waiting so many years to go to in the education system,
Yeah.
so they just do their jobs in a public sector to just make their saving like monthly income. They don't care to transcribe that culture to the youngest generation, so that this is important, this is nice, this is historically your own inheritance. They don't do that,
Mhm.
which is very damaging for the younger generations. And a lot of people are misinformed. They don't know how, this is very bad, because Greece has gone through two major revolutions.
Oh
One
yeah.
was in 1821 against the Turkish people,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
and the other one was during World War II against the Germans. But people don't know the dates. These are the only two dates I'm asking for people to know in Greece. They
Mhm.
don't know the dates, and they are mixing everything up. And I see this younger generations that they don't know even the history of the country they're from. I'm
Yeah.
not saying like complex history, ancient years. I'm just saying knowing two basics, the most modern history,
Mhm.
the things that it will take you 2 minutes to open a book, or like 2 minutes to pay attention in class, which is one thing that I think but damages our culture.
That's
Apart
true.
from that, food is still great.
Yeah, of course, bro. The food's number one. Okay, chat to me, bro. Anything you don't like
Euros is number
about
one.
what do you say?
Euros is number one. It's better than doner.
Why do people say some people say gyros, but then how do you pronounce
Euros.
euros?
Euros.
Euros.
Euros with like
Euros.
a Y.
Euros.
Exactly. It's like it should be written with a Y, but some reason they wrote it
Euros.
with a G.
G. Yeah.
G-Y or
And
it's
I hear people
euros.
calling gyros, and I'm like,
Okay,
Some
no,
people
no,
call
you
it
need to.
gyros.
Oh
I've
God.
heard gyros before.
You really?
Yes,
Damn, bro. Hey, but talk to us, man. Anything you feel you don't like or could be changed in our culture? And I mean, at the end of the day, it's our preference. It's your opinion. Talk to us,
In
man, boy.
in like our culture, like Nigeria, or
Yeah,
just
hey, no, your culture. You're Yoruba. I'm Igbo.
we're from Nigeria.
I'm Igbo.
I'm quarter.
I
No,
don't quarter what?
you see this? We call this was it xenophobia.
Carry on,
Anyway,
Broski.
so
I call this a civil warfare.
a civil war. Thank you. You see, I actually I have a lot to say on this one actually. So I'm going to start, but I'll keep this short and sweet.
Mm,
I personally just feel like in Nigeria it's still as like Nigeria is making progress in terms of the mentality and the thinking, but In terms of leadership is still a mess and a bit of a joke. No, not a
Mm.
bit of a joke. It is a joke. I also feel like the way women are still treated in some parts of Nigeria and just like the thoughts towards them is just it's very archaic. Archaic is more of just like a generalized term. It's just some of it I've seen recently baffles me. Like
Mm.
okay, watch this now. So I was on the internet the other day on the World Wide Web. Very perverted place to be. But I was on it and someone was arguing. Like I was genuinely having a conversation with them. They were trying to explain to me on why it is acceptable for a 30-year-old man to be in a romantic relationship with an 18-year-old. And I looked at this guy and I was like, okay, what exactly would an 18-year-old have in common with a 30-year-old man? This guy said to me, it doesn't really matter because his father, the girls, he knows a girl who's 18, got married to a 30-year-old because the girl's father gave away her hand in marriage. And to me, I just really sat and thought for a minute, it's like, it still shows like the way women are seen in, towards a lot of people in Nigeria is just like not as human beings, but rather as property. Because truthfully, you telling me that does not even answer my initial question of what does an 18-year-old and a 30-year-old have in common. It's just like you're still seeing it as kind of like property you know, it being like something like an actual human being. Then another guy came to defend his buddy, and he came and he said, "Oh, I'm trying to remember the exact thing he told me. He said, "Oh, well, if an 18-year-old man, 18-year-old girl, and a 30-year-old man in Nigeria are dating, you should blame the woman for not having virtue." And I'm
What?
like, do you get the? I was just like, okay, we're not. Let's just ignore what he said. First
Mm.
of all, the man is 30 years old. He should know better. He should
Exactly.
know better.
That's the grown
That's the
person.
grown person. That's an adult. This one, someone that was just 17 a few months ago, you're saying let's blame her because she doesn't have virtue. But you were just arguing for the fact that there's nothing wrong with it. So to me, it's like I'm very proud of like my country itself, not my leadership, the country's leadership. No, just the culture. The fact that it's rich and diverse is multicultural. We
Mm.
have over 100 different tribes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, apart from the main three that are usually the most well known, we have over 100 different tribes, cultures, customs, traditions. That is great. You know, Afrobeats is now known worldwide. But
Mm-hmm.
in terms of like the general thinking, just I'm not even gonna get into too much, but just towards women is still appalling and just kind of baffling, speaking with people who aren't well educated or just well traveled is like there's no point because they will say some of the dumbest things and believe it with their full chest, and you just be like, am I even speaking to a human being right now?
That is true. That is true. It makes you raise a question as to whether culture should gradually adapt to the world
Mm,
as as it goes on.
mm,
Like I feel like as a person you can't sit down and be 100% traditional, because
yeah,
if you are 100% traditional, then you are also agreeing to particular statutes that everyone saw as the way to follow. You know what I
mhm,
mean? Like there's always that little thing. Well, not that little thing. There's this thing about twins in Nigerian culture, or if a Nigerian or some traditional cultures, where if a mother gave birth to twins, one of them had to be abandoned in an evil forest. Like I'm right, right? Am I not
yeah,
wrong? Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
And like those are particular things that make you raise questions. You might see things there where women are not given a a similar level, or if anything, the same level of importance as men. Sometimes it goes into religious perspectives and opinions, but culturally, you want to believe that there should be different roles with equal values. You know what I
exactly.
mean? But hey, bro, I want to believe that we still have opportunities to make an impact in our lives. We may not be able to change the society and the way they view culture, but we can gradually work on culture in our circle. Go get your sweet one, go marry her, preserve your culture, have your kids.
Yeah.
Let your kids know how to appreciate what it means to be Greek, Nigerian, Italian, whatever. You know what I mean? And then it gradually works on society. I can come and tell you, this is the way. This is the way. And both of you nod your heads. We go tell other people, this is the way, this is the way. That one person comes to tell you, why are you letting this one man take you everywhere? I'm just like you. And from there, you can do whatever, you know? It's your opportunity to be able to make the right choices for yourself. But you have to focus on yourself first. Find the reason as to why you appreciate your culture. Find the things that you believe are not healthy in this day and age. You know what I mean? But personally, me, get rid of witchcraft, bro. Witchcraft, juju. That's the only thing I say, like, yo, that's a waste of time. Get rid of this juju. We call juju like witchcraft, like, you know, witches and wizards stuff. Like, oh, look at some. And some. all that rubbish, bro. Like, one thing, like, obviously, I realized that, like, obviously, Nigeria is not the only country. African countries are not the only countries that have juju, bad juju, all that bullshit, bro. That is not culture, you know.
Do you know Evil Eye?
Evil Eye.
Is that blue?
Well, that little blue thing, all that spirituality stuff.
You know the story from Greece, right? That's Greek.
Oh yeah. Oh.
The whole thing, like with Evil Eye, say that someone's. This is a big thing for a lot of older people in Greece, and it's so weird to me because they say, oh, I have you go to your mom and say, oh, I have a headache or something like that. Someone's been thinking about it. Someone is eyeing you right now.
Oh yeah, like
someone's eyeing you right now.
You sneeze and someone's talking about you.
And suddenly they call your grandma. She says some kind of psalms from her inside, and without saying anything, then she yawns a bit and says, "Yeah, someone's actually eyeing you. You were eyed." I don't understand the whole thing. And it's like called an evil eye, and you roll the trinkets because you're trying to protect yourself from other people trying to curse you. And that's the one tradition I want Greek people to get over, please.
I don't see that stuff as logical. You're looking at the material stuff you put on your arm. I'm not trying to make fun of people, but you really have to look at where you put your faith and your trust in, and at least put it in yourself. If you don't want to put it in a higher power, but a stone, it sometimes it is kind of funny to think about, man. It's funny to think about, honestly.
You know, it's a reverse placebo, right?
Reverse placebo.
Yeah, you know what a placebo is, right?
The placebo effect is like basically, say you were having a headache, right?
Yeah.
And I gave you a Skittle, and I told you this is a painkiller,
and then I lost the headache.
Yeah.
I'm gonna think it was because of the Skittle.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my
days.
days.
Think it's a psychological trick.
Right now, like the evil eye is the reverse placebo effect, because you say suddenly, "Oh, I have a headache. It must be that." And there are no reason for you to take a painkiller or like trust in science. You suddenly say, "My whole faith goes out of the window." It's suddenly an evil eye. Someone is eyeing me.
Oh.
You know what? This is a slight tangent. It's something very small I'm going to mention now.
Yeah, go for it.
I'll go in depth in a later episode. So that's why you should keep watching. Okay, I will mention this again.
He better make this worthwhile.
So with all this, I think in terms of like, okay, let me even use religion and science. It's like they've always been seen as like two opposite extremes and two ends and opposing forces. But I have been recently, with a bit of research involved and also a bit of just meditating, I'm starting to believe that religion and science actually go hand in hand.
Of course they do.
Okay, great.
Of course.
I'll explain why. Because here's the thing. I have been looking into the concept of deep space. No, it's not a concept, the thing. Space, the Earth, space. So there is something known as Phoenix A, which is described as a supermassive black hole, which is like just a big void that pulls everything towards it, including light. Now, and then I was now relaying it towards like my faith, because in my faith I believe God created everything, including that black hole. So I was just thinking, it's like we use science. A lot of people tend to try and use science to disprove religion, but I personally see it as we use science in a way to put things in which the human mind can comprehend and understand in like so you've never your brain can't comprehend something as a supermassive black hole.
Mhm.
It's bigger than anything you've ever come across. This planet, sorry, I just I got a little something. This planet that you see, this planet is the biggest thing like you're on. And it's so big you can't even like really like acknowledge it. But to compared to a supermassive black hole, it's literally just like a full stop.
Mm.
Imagine a full stop on a page and then a supermassive black hole. But it's like if you were to see this thing, your mind just can't comprehend. It would seem like infinity to you. But it's like we use science in a way to just quantify and just at least scale it down into a sense that we can comprehend some of the things God created. So that's just where my mind's going out towards. But I
Clean
still need
stuff.
to do a bit more research. Then I will get back to you in a future episode.
Stop doing juju.
Stop banging Juge.
Can I give you a brain? Can I? I'm gonna swear on this ones.
You go ahead.
I'm gonna give you a brain fact right now.
Mhm.
Math is not real.
What? Mathematics.
Mathematics are not real.
You're telling me the truth because I don't like. I've never.
It's
liked
a
maths.
human construct
Yeah,
to quantify the unquantifiable.
that does make sense. But then, would you not say that you need math in terms of like things like
Of course, but you need math in your everyday human life
Yeah.
to explain human things.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about aliens. I'm just thinking about like, in all fairness, parallel universe. No one. I don't think math would be the same. Someone else found math. Different, like ancient philosopher, someone else started
Yeah.
it. It wouldn't be the same. Ancient
Like-
mathematician, it will be completely different.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
this proves my point that math is not an absolute unit of proving the existence of the world. It's literally a way to make something quantifiable
Yes.
because of the limited capacity of our brains.
That's what I was just saying. Basically, he's adding on to what I was just saying.
Mm.
Because the mind is limited in its understanding. Math is a whole abstract concept that has been created for over
Okay.
thousands of years,
Wavy.
in which we now use it to comprehend our surroundings. Like if I told you now this cup is about, I don't know, 10 centimeters tall.
Mm-hmm.
What if someone else just says, no, I want it to be 2 inches tall?
2 centimeters or
Or
something.
2 something. It's just because the reason why now it's seen as a fact is because it's what has been universally agreed upon
True.
with all of society.
Exactly.
Fair enough.
Had society then said no, let's not go with that, would have said this is actually 3 feet long.
Or 20 centimeters.
Oh,
or something.
exactly. And that was how it was. Then it would have been 3 feet long.
Yeah, man. Well, it is the way it is.
It is what it is.
It's not gonna change. Let's take a little break.
Okay.
So, my bro, obviously with culture, being able to embrace it, preserve it, shows how much you love where you come from. As we get older, we start to meet other cultures. Diversity comes in and it plays a very big part in our lives because once you leave your home country, and sometimes even in Nigeria, bro, you see an Asian guy, you see some Pakistani brothers, they come there for work. There are a lot of contractors that come into places. I've had Saudi customers or Saudi clients come to my place of work. They find that I'm Nigerian and they tell me that they do a lot of work in Nigeria. They love the culture. They embrace the culture. With that, I want to ask the two of you, if you ever had the opportunity to marry someone outside your culture, would you? And if you did, how would you preserve your culture? Or how would you embrace both of them? Like, Jace, chat to me, bro, because you look like you got something to say.
I mean, it's a difficult question to answer. This is presumes the fact that I marry someone.
He might not marry, guys.
I'm not the same Jace you remember.
The movie.
Carry on.
I need to say that this guy remembers a Jace that was about to get married when he was 20 years old. You remember President?
Oh,
Yes.
Oh, you were about to get married?
He was on it. Like,
I was on it.
he was on it, bro. Gee.
So
Talk to us.
presumably, if I get married, I wouldn't mind I wouldn't mind if it's a person from Asia. I wouldn't mind if it's a person from Europe,
Mm-hmm.
Scandinavia,
Mm-hmm.
Africa. As long as I'm, good with the person, I'm not looking at you. Don't look at me. You don't make it gay.
You looked at me.
Oh man.
So yeah, I wouldn't mind. To be fair, I wouldn't mind. It's a lovely experience if you find the perfect person for you. However, how I would raise my kids for them to learn both cultures, um, I wouldn't stand it if they didn't know the Greek language. First of all, even if we lived abroad,
Mhm.
if we lived, let's say Japan, Norway, anywhere, I wouldn't stand it if they didn't know first of all the Greek language.
Would you say that the language is probably one of the aspects of your culture that you would preserve the most?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because the Greek language and is literally teaching you the origins of every almost word in existence.
Really?
Not every.
Oh, a lot of words do come from Greek origin.
That is
Exactly.
true.
Exactly. So, if it's important in Greece for us to learn ancient Greek, I think it's more than the bare minimum for my kid to know Greek.
They copied your whole flow,
What do you mean?
bar for bar, word for word.
I'm not getting this reference.
You're not getting the reference. That's why you're lame.
No. Wait. I get the reference, but I'm not getting why you're putting that reference. I know it's Soldier Boy. Come
So
on.
no, hold on. So with the Greek language or the Greek dialect being, if anything, kind of like a forefather of the English language that we have now,
Yep.
there are so many words that have been either copied or translated. I hate having to explain a joke. Anyways, my brother, just carry on.
I
Just
get it now.
yeah.
No,
Just
I understand.
I understand it now.
no, you don't.
So I would be really keen on my kid learning both languages, his mother's
Yeah.
and mine, since a very young age. Like my kid would be bilingual. Same way, if I really love the person, I would try to learn their language as well.
Mhm.
Like if, let's say, they're talking, I don't know what. Let's say they're from Germany, or that was a bad example. Let's say they are from what's a difficult Indonesia,
Mhm.
or they speak a specific like language there. I would make the effort to learn the language, and as a result, I would want my kid to be multicultural as well.
Yeah,
So
that's very good.
yeah, multiple travels, I guess, back home.
That's
Like
cool.
meet the grandparents, fly the grandparents over just to grow the kid. That's when I'm at work.
Mhm.
Not
Mhm.
grow, but like babysit the kid.
Of course, of course. I would let my parents babysit my kids as well, like grandparents kind of stuff as well, man. Like I trust my mom way more than I trust myself. my mom will probably still take care of me and my kids at the same time, bro. It's crazy.
That's actually true.
Like, oh gee. Talk to us, K. What would you try to embrace and preserve?
Okay, so this is okay. Okay, so at my current power level, I am not in a state where I'm very confident in my ability to preserve my culture amongst my children. I will explain.
Mm.
My understanding, I can understand the Yoruba language, but my speaking of it is not where I'd like it to be.
Mm-hmm.
I fear, and if I marry someone who is not from the same culture as me, it might be lost to the void. Because while I can impart what I do know, I feel as though what I do know
It's not
is
enough.
not enough.
Damn.
Now, that's why I'm making steps to improve on that. You see, obviously, in my culture and obviously my religion, sometimes they go hand in hand, sometimes they don't.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they kind of clash. Um, I'm trying to find a way in which I can keep both, in the sense that, like, okay, it's they're both there without contradicting each other.
Yeah.
So what I'm currently doing right now is I'm doing a bit of introspection, and I am also just trying to get a bit more research, just understand things more. I know my culture, I know it well,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm talking about as a Yoruba man from the state of Oyo. That's where I'm from.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get a bit more just on the history of that and just the history of just being a Yoruba person in Yoruba land, you know. Now, obviously, in my culture, my culture has its own belief system,
Yeah.
which I don't believe in, Ogun, they call him the god of iron.
Shango.
Yeah, exactly.
Shango.
Shango, Ogun.
God
These,
of thunder.
exactly, these are all the gods in Yoruba land. Now, I don't believe in any of them. Maybe I would watch an anime about them, like
Is there
Wouldn't it actually be very cool if there were cultural anime?
that's what I'm
like an
saying.
It would be
African
There
anime
isn't,
peak?
it doesn't exist. But if it did, I would
You
watch
raised my
it.
hopes up, bro.
I
What
know,
about
I'm sorry.
like the modernification
That's
of
what I'm
Greek
saying.
like ancient wars and mythology?
I
Like
think they did
it's
that.
it's
It
been
would
done in a
be
very bad
cool,
way.
bro. It would be done badly now
Yeah, it would.
because of, I would say, woke media. It would be very bad now because they would try to portray their own image and not the historical
I think,
image that's
I
already
think,
there.
I'll tell you-
they call that whitewashing. It's always constantly
Okay,
done.
what's your opinion? I really ask you this. What's your opinion about Latina Snow White?
Who's
Rachel Zegler.
Rachel Zegler?
So basically,
Okay.
Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman.
Okay.
I wouldn't say they've been under fire for their performance in
Okay.
Snow White, but as they were promoting it, Rachel Zegler was coming with, I'd say, bro, she was coming with bad vibes, bro. Like, first off, the movie itself was kind of funny where they changed the seven dwarfs to seven magical individuals, like all diverse, like just a bunch of diverse hires, bro. And I guess Snow White was meant to be this independent woman. Funny enough, you know why her name's Snow White? Because she was born in the snow, not because of her skin.
No, because that's not actually.
I think that's what they said. That's what they said in the trailer, though. She was born in the snow, and then they called her Snow White.
In the original story, she was called Snow White because her skin color was
fair, as white as
Hair
snow.
was black as ebony. They used those where I remember.
Yeah, man. Like
Red
those were
lips,
not
so that it was
very descriptive. But we all watched Snow White, and like, if I could watch Snow White again and not feel like that's racist.
I think okay. Let me circle back to what I was initially, and then I'll get back to what you just asked me because I actually do have a lot to say on that.
Mm.
So, with that being said, right, I am trying to put these things together in terms of culture, in terms of religion. I
Yeah.
want to be in a place where I know that come the next my children, my offspring, the results of my actions, they can carry the culture and preserve it so that when their children come, it's not lost in the water or just lost in the sauce and just gone forever.
Fair enough.
And just kind of watered down and diluted. I want it to still be preserved because at the end of the day, yes, I am Nigerian. So in regards to your question, right now I'm not in a state where I feel my culture can survive in my hands. So I'm trying to get there. Now, in regards to what is it, how the media is casting in terms of like diversifying, trying to make a bigger point. What was that initial question?
You asked us about. You asked us what do we think about it?
It's not more about the specific one, but it's about the whitewashing of the media towards
The way-
classical stories and traditions.
I don't think it's good. I'd
You
say
know
that.
what? You know what? I
There's
feel
a-
like in terms of like how okay, let's look at something for example. So I'm gonna use examples, right? We've had cases in history where certain characters have been changed or, added on. I'll use the examples of Green Lantern and Spider-Man. So historically, Spider-Man has been a man known as Peter Parker,
Mhm.
who is Caucasian white, a Caucasian white, straight white male. We
Mhm.
have Green Lantern, Hal Jordan. I
Mhm.
think he's the original Green Lantern, straight white male. And I think the reason why all this has been happening is because a lot of these characters, these mantles, all these stories that are being sort of reworked, they were made in a time where, anything that wasn't white was just wrong. They were made in those times, the 60s, things were not looking great. So I understand why it's happening. Now here's the thing. It's been done so much so that I'll give an example. There's the animated Justice League show, the old one, not the new
Yeah,
one.
big chests and everything.
Yeah. Back then, when they brought in the character of Green Lantern, it was not Hal Jordan.
Or
It
John
was
Stewart.
John Stewart, the black
Yeah.
guy.
Mhm.
Now here's the thing with that one. Now I'm going to use this from the eyes of a rational person. I'm not using this from the eyes of a racist because anything that's not white to them is rubbish. I don't care. To them, the way they did it, they liked it. You know, Jon Stewart has become. He's known now as one of the Green Lanterns. Like if
Yeah.
you put Jon Stewart out, they know, oh yeah, that's Jon Stewart. If they put a black guy in grey, oh yeah, that's Jon Stewart. We know about him. You know, they grow up watching him. I think, or let me use Miles Morales now. He's Spider-Man. He's become very popular now. He's like, people know him as Spider-Man, one of the two. Peter Parker is still Spider-Man, but they also know him as Spider-Man. I think what's happening here is that now with those characters, those are, I would say they're kind of legacy characters, but in a sense they're done where it's seen as quote unquote organic. So let's look at the casting of no, not Snow White. I'm gonna use this one. The Little Mermaid, Ariel. Right? Ariel was initially casted as, red hair, white, whatever. I think what's happening here is while I understand the premise of it and I do support, in such a case where there's like things of children of like color or just children of different ethnic backgrounds, like to look up to something that may or may not reflect them, like they can see themselves in a character, as people, as it's a psychological thing, people tend to project themselves onto the main characters of stories or the main character of a game that they're playing. Like, oh, this is me doing the stuff.
That's
So
the whole thing about fiction, though. You know,
yeah,
you can feel immersed.
exactly,
into
to
the
feel
story.
immersed. So a lot of people might not always feel immersed if a black person trying to project themselves into a white character because they're not white at the end of the day. So I understand it. But I feel like this is a thing I think should, continue. But I feel like in the sense that it's being done in a way that's, would I say disingenuous? I feel like it's more of done being just um to just fill up a number or just to meet certain quotas, like, okay,
Or to give some sort of appeal.
yeah, so we want to appeal to black people today. So let's make a already established character, let's make them black. I think with that, it's obviously gonna cause controversy. People won't like it. But two, I feel like there should be more effort in there being original made characters who may be black or maybe this. I understand they won't be as popular, but these initial characters that are so popular now, they were created, they weren't always gonna be like popular. They've had stretches where they were just kind of crap. So it's like I think there's a lot, like with black people, for example, we have a rich culture you could pull out from. I've never seen Ogun, God of Iron, on TV.
Yeah, broski, that's because there ain't no Nigerians actually doing that. The thing is that everyone forgets that Hollywood is being watched by everyone in the world.
Yes.
So you're able to see Snow White, and however Hollywood portrays that character is going to be there. Now we're in this day and age where we all walk around eggshells, in a sense where anywhere you go, you're stepping on someone's feet. The issue that I have with a thing like Snow White, the Snow White of today, is that they are trying to be forcefully inclusive. You don't need to redo Snow White. And if you're redoing Snow White, make a completely new character. Let there be a character that people can appeal
Thank you.
to that
you.
is someone fresh. If you bring in a black character, that character does not have to be Snow White's secret lover or why she's this kind of person. People still discussed about how Snow White portrayed female strength. Now, I may not be able to properly explain that, but she's not just someone that cooks and cleans and does all that. Like, the dwarves still admired her for her particular reasons, and they were not just sexual. I feel like nowadays some people come with this misconception that all these things made before only appealed to the white man. But there will be people that will want to make a story about their own cultural traditions or gods or opinions, but it also depends on how mainstream media presents that to the people. Like, if you're not watching those kind of things, like you're not gonna be interested in it. If you're not watching Africa Magic, why are you gonna watch an animated show about?
Can I add one thing in this?
Go ahead, yeah.
When it comes specifically to, let's say, Disney princesses and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
you know that doesn't matter because I love the notion of creating new characters of people that can identify themselves into
Mm-hmm.
or identify themselves with when it comes to, for example, their own history, their own beliefs, their own hardship.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why people think it's not multicultural when they, for example, have a red-headed like mermaid, when they have a Japanese sword fighter,
Mm-hmm.
Mulan, when they have a girl that's working in the US in an oppressed times, and she wants to open her own cafe, and she's black and becomes in the frog and then becomes
Imagine Princess and the Frog. They make that lady white. Do you know the kind of outroar that would be
exactly
there?
that
The
would be
truth of
cultural
it,
appropriation.
yeah,
Same way though, cultural appropriation exists when you make Snow White Latina
yeah.
in order to empower and show the independence of women.
I agree with that.
You
That makes a
mix
lot of sense.
you mix two different things just for a marketing stunt.
Exactly. Give me something new. Give me something original. You don't have to do that to try and appeal to me. I never sat down thinking, oh, what if Snow White was like my girl, my sister? It doesn't matter. It's a movie. Some people get too engrossed into these kind of things, and those things don't even properly portray reality. I not even a feel. I would definitely say that if there is something that can be done to bring in some form of uniqueness, yeah, you don't go about it by changing what already is original. Like every movie comes in, imagine Mulan, for example. They go and redo Mulan, and I don't know, she's transgender or something. She's actually a man or something. You're being diverse, but why do you have to do that? She came in a society where only men went to fight, and she was seeking honor for her family. Her father was ill, and was she not the firstborn? So she went and she represented her family through the trials and the hardships, and she brought honor to herself, being one of the first, I guess, females, fictional or reality, to play a huge part in the front lines of those wars against the Mongols. And brother, she was badass. I watched Mulan 2. Like, come on, bro. Like, I don't think people need to keep seeing these characters being changed and portrayed. Just make something new, make something original. And
You can take historical pieces and actually turn them into good like cinematic universes.
exactly.
You can get the way you said that about Nigeria. They can. The reason I think that they don't travel to Nigeria, for example, to harvest all the lore, all the mythology, or the traditions in order to make them into a movie, is that they haven't done that before, and because they haven't done such thing before, they're more afraid to do that because
And they want to stay with what is already established.
exactly because
rather than something that.
everything is a marketed value.
Yeah.
So if they take the risk for that, that means that they might spend 100, 120, 150 million in production of a movie that might not end up in people's
But they did the Woman King.
interest.
They did the Woman
Yeah,
King.
they did the Woman King.
And they
I
got
actually really like that film.
I
liked
didn't
it.
because they portrayed it in a way. I like how they showed the strength in those women, but it wasn't historically accurate,
I think
unfortunately.
here's the thing with that one. It wasn't meant to, I don't think it was meant to be historically accurate. I just thought it was meant to take themes from history, be a bit inspired with it, but then turn it into something else. Because I think I think it said it in the first part of the movie that it's inspired by this, but it's not meant to be a one-to-one
Okay.
representation.
Because they were
when I
still
watched-
selling their own people.
Exactly. So when I watched it for that, rather than it being based on history, I was able to enjoy it because I was like, okay, it's not a one-to-one. This is just what they're trying to show us.
Exactly, but you should not. If you're picking off inspirations, your inspiration should be for things like location, the background, attire, cultural tradition, not actually picking a story, taking out bits of historically written information, and then choosing where and when to change. That's not original.
Thank you.
That's like
Thank you.
picking the Battle of Thermopylae in Greece and then changing particular battles, or they go and redo Sparta 100. Was Sparta 100?
First
And
of
they
all,
go
Sparta was one of the most weird movies I've ever watched.
I think it's 300. Yes.
It's
300, sorry, yeah.
And it's literally Leonidas traveling to the enemy ships to have sex with the enemy commander.
You see, like that. This is already now a person with history that he knows, and then he goes to watch a movie and he sees particular things that have been changed either to appeal to a certain group or to market the movie or make the movie more marketable. I just don't think that you need to change those things, because it's like you're actually trying to, you're ruining it.
You know what? I'm gonna play.
You ruin it, bro.
I'm gonna play a bit of devil's advocate here because it's something I always like doing.
Go ahead.
So, in terms of, I'll start with the fact that we mentioned them taking established characters and turning them whatever, changing it. I think the reason why it's different is because it's a case of, obviously, so let's use Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella, Snow White. They're all white and they're all from wherever. I think the problem with that is because of the fact that, say now if they turn Tiana white, that would be an issue, because if you really actually look at it, there's actually few in terms of the ratio of how many, let's say, white characters that they have versus black characters. So for them to now change it, I think that's where the uproar would become, because they already have so few, which now leads me to my point of why I believe obviously they should create new, more original characters, from different backgrounds, and actually invest and put the time in. Because I think with when this has been done, they've tried this, but it didn't work out because they didn't actually put that much effort in. They just thought, okay, black character, it should work out. No,
really, I think they did it quite well, bro. When you look at,
I'm saying like in terms of like the ones where it hasn't worked out. It has worked out before.
Okay, because Princess and the Frog was pretty good,
exactly,
bro. They showed,
that's what I was going to say.
They showed the voodoo in their whole like New Orleans funk vibe. They showed the difference in Tiana and her best friend. The best friend lived the posh life, bro, with all her toys and dressing up as princesses and whatever. And all Tiana wanted to do was work in her father in her parents' either restaurant where they were making these lovely like cakes, or brother, I would eat that stuff.
Exactly,
bro. Like,
that's the point I'm making. Like,
We're getting a bit off subject, especially you. You become way too passionate
I'm
about
hungry.
Disney movies.
I'm hungry.
Speaking of the food,
but the point is, I completely understand your point on this. But like, if you wanted to play devil's advocate as well, there haven't been a lot more new white characters, because since a specific period of time after, there's been Latina characters, Mexican characters, Japanese characters, black characters. The only character I think that has come out that was white is Frozen 2. I don't know any other, like, since Frozen. I don't know.
Brave. I think
Brave is Irish.
Good. Yeah,
Brave is
Irish or
Irish.
Scottish? Was it Irish?
No, true. Brave was. I think it was Scottish. It was
A Scottish.
Yeah,
one
but
of the two.
long and short of it, it's just that you need to be able to still bring out original concepts. You don't need to try and appeal to the masses, because that's all they're trying to do. They're trying to make it seem as though everybody can be a part of this. Unfortunately, not. That's why some people like Call of Duty, and that's why some people like BioWar. It's always going to be different. You can't have everybody liking the same thing, and you cannot appeal to everyone. And that's the issue with some of these movies. I have no issue with Rachel Zegler playing Snow White, but is she portraying the character that was already there?
No.
And the thing is that she's not, and she said so. That's not what she's trying to do. And that's where the uproar is coming from, because you're trying to portray this character the way you see it. You then realize that it doesn't have to go as far as that. You know, there's still so many different things, bro, like cultural appropriation and the way we look into it. But I just want to quickly ask you guys, because we don't have any more time. In terms of cultural appropriation, is that something that's really negative? Is it that bad unless you are mocking someone's culture? Like, if I decided to actually purchase a kimono because I actually like Japanese culture, someone's going to tell me that it's wrong for me to wear that.
You know what? I think this is really the concept of cultural appropriation is only in existence because of the concept of racism. This being said, so if I was to see someone, right, let's say
Mm-hmm.
if I saw a Caucasian white man come, in Agbada because he's actually really likes the culture, he likes this
Mm-hmm.
stuff, he's in Nigeria. I actually have seen this before now, come to think of it.
Are you gonna tell him like you shouldn't be wearing that?
No, 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 no. The reason why I say this is because in Ibadan, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember. It was a really long time ago. My mom or my dad will probably remember this. It was my mom. Yes. There was the one of my, I think it's either my grandmother or my grandfather, someone's friend knew a guy. He was a white man, and he was telling us about like how his story. He wasn't actually telling me. He was telling the adults. I was just a kid, but I was listening because I was intrigued.
Mm-hmm.
He was a white Caucasian man. He was like, when he first came to Nigeria, he described it as love at first sight. And
Mm-hmm.
so what he did was he just bought a house, and he's just been living there ever since. Like that's what he wanted to do for himself. To me, that's embracing the culture. That's
Of
not
course.
cultural appropriation. I think the reason why when people mention the issue of cultural appropriation, is like somebody now. Okay, let me give you an example. There was I think, correct me if I'm wrong here, an interview of someone who was like, who's considered racist.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, deport the Mexicans using all the slurs and whatnot. But it's like you're racist towards them, but it's like you then still want to have Taco Tuesdays later on. So it's like, do you get what I'm saying? It's like, or someone who's like,
You still enjoy something about
yeah,
their
you,
culture.
you have issues with somebody of a certain culture, but it's like you still want to take aspects of it, but you don't even like the person.
Mm-hmm.
It's different from someone who likes the person who likes the culture.
Mm-hmm.
There's no problem with that. If they want to, get invested in the culture, then why not? It's not. It's like okay, you don't like black people, but you want to try and make your hair look. There's this thing they do in Asian countries. I think it's China, where they figured out how to make their hair almost look like Afro
Waves,
like.
Like
yes.
kinky and
It's
No,
stuff.
not after like waves.
Yeah,
I saw that,
A
but then
specific product they put in.
and it's like
it's based on a trend though.
it's based on a trend, but it's like, obviously, I'm not gonna say the whole country is racist, but the country definitely is struggling with issues of race. Some, a lot of it is actually from just sheer ignorance, in the sense that there are people who haven't actually seen a black person live, so
Mm-hmm.
like they genuinely have questions, they're curious, they want to know. That's fine. And there are those that who just see black people as like, you see them as like dirty or something, or like animals,
Mm-hmm.
but you want to do all these things that
That you find as
primarily
trendy.
trendy, but primarily exist with amongst black people. Then that's where I would say, okay, it's cultural appropriation.
Mm-hmm.
It's different than you actually, you like the culture, you like the people, you're embracing it. That's different. And I would never say anybody should stop them, gatekeep, because they want to embrace the culture. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, that's where I stand on it.
How would you feel if you had a friend, Jace, that really loved Greek culture, but they felt that they might be appropriating it?
I think cultural appropriation to some point is
It's bullshit, innit?
dependent only on stereotypes and way too sensitive people.
So it's rubbish, innit?
I'll tell you this one. This is a real life example from my own life.
Mm-hmm.
We have a big gas carnival in Greece. It's in Patras. It's let's say 3 hours away from Athens. Um, in that carnival, you have like large vehicles. There is a parade. People are dressing up. People are throwing up balloons. Everything.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, I was going to go there with my girlfriend, and when we went to a store, finding out kind of like suit we want to try on, like or, try to customize ourselves the best we can to match the parade.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that an Arab costume, just dressing up with a gown and the hat and something like that, was pretty, at the same time appropriate because it's some parade like Halloween, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Then it would be something also nice for my age and my vibe to wear. And she called it cultural appropriation. She literally told me to put it down. If I wear that, she wouldn't go with me. It's disclaimer, it's good to say that I'm not with that person anymore. But that specific point, I think another person wouldn't even mind it,
Mm-hmm.
because I have a couple of other friends, and when I asked them about it, their opinion, because I was very pissed afterwards, they told me that clothing is literally only a sentimental part of a culture. It doesn't matter anything else. You can literally wear the same clothes. Same way you can wear a kimono, that like where you mentioned. Same way I asked my parents to give me a traditional robe from
Mm-hmm.
Tunisia. So depends on how you view a specific fad. If you're wearing it to make fun of it, and you trying to say, you
Of
show
course,
then
that's
there's
bad.
like,
You don't
oh,
appreciate the culture.
you're like a clown or something like that. Then you
Yeah.
say, look what I'm wearing, something like that. Or if a kid, because this is like a limit, I draw a limit to this. If a kid went to this parade with a black face on and he was white,
Mm-hmm.
that's racist.
Of
Yeah.
course,
Yeah.
I definitely say so. Yeah,
Yeah, that goes
that's not even cultural appropriation, bro. That's some Jim Crow foolery
But
right there, bro.
but cultural appropriation is not literally taking specific aspects just because you like them. You might not like the whole culture. You might say, for example, what cultural appropriation is, for example, is going into their home country and disrespecting them heads on.
Of
That's
course,
cultural appropriation.
there's a guy that does that in South Korea, Johnny Somali.
I actually hate that.
I hate him
guy.
so much,
Like,
bro.
That guy, his face, I want to punch his face. Like
He's a
so
very
annoying,
disrespectful
bro.
guy. He just be going around South Korea. He's either, because they're very what's the word? They're very serious about how you eat. Like you eat in silence. You're not trying to bother other people. If you're in a public space, you don't make noise when you're walking. You don't be eating and stuff. There was another thing he did was really, really disrespectful to a statue, a monument that was there, bro. And now whenever people see him, bro, they're open to beating this guy up. I would honestly say, I'm sorry if I did cut you in if you were saying something, but I would honestly say, like, people need to embrace culture.
Mhm.
You need to embrace another culture. You need to diversify yourself in a
Thank you.
world that's already diverse. Like, what makes you think that it would be wrong to dress up? Not dress up like, all those derogatory words and things like that, but dressing up because you like this. If my friend told me that they wanted to put on cornrows, wherever the cornrows are from, bro, because you like it, sure, go ahead. That's your choice to do, but don't go around imitating some of your black friends or using funny slangs or ebonics or whatever. Like, there are some things that are rude, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I remember Justin Bieber got braids and people were like, please take it out, or he didn't know that it was cultural appropriation, blah blah blah. But then Wo Vicky, she got braids. Now that's like two different people. They're both white, but Wo Vicky is obviously an influencer that clowns other people and herself. So in a case like that, it's like, oh, we don't want this person having our same height, our same hairstyles, and then they would call that cultural appropriation. Broski, I'd give you a dashiki and I tell you, yeah, rock that stuff, bro. Like, because it's part of a culture, it's a particular dressing or particular part of an outfit that we feel is very vibrant in color, and it's nice. It stands out. It's a lovely piece. And if you go somewhere, you should be allowed to purchase it if you want to. What you do with it at the end of the day is up to you as a person. But everyone in this world, man, should have an opportunity to acknowledge a culture, even if you don't embrace it. Because shoot, man, you might be listening to some international music and you love it. You may not know what the languages are. Would you say that's cultural appropriation because you're not properly interpreting what they're saying?
I think I'll touch on the Justin Bieber one because I think there's actually really no why they didn't like him doing that, because there's actually a video of him just saying so that there's a song
What was he saying?
there's a song he was basically using the slur, the N-word.
He was using the N-word.
Yes, in the context of killing black people and joining the KKK. So the reason why, yes, I know it's a bit obscure. It's really obscure.
Is there such a
The video is online. I can show it to you. Actually, it's a bit obscure.
Uh-huh.
That's why not many people actually know it. Was like as of late, it's been coming back up. So the reason why they had issues with him, dressing like that, is because they already have the context of that. This is the same guy that was making jokes about killing black people and joining the KKK. So it's like, oh, you're making jokes about this, but then when it's now time to take parts of black culture to further your career, that's when you're like, oh yeah, all this. So that's why they have issues with that. Well, Vicky is a bit of a weird one because I've known about her for a while. I think she was in Nigeria even recently. I can't-
Pretending that she was kidnapped and something.
pretending she was kidnapped doing something. I think Will Vicky's just a bit stupid. But
That one's all on the side, but
Yeah.
then it then goes to show that there was something he did that they didn't like. So it wasn't really about the braids. It was about kind of what he said and then the fact that he's now wearing braids.
But isn't that technically cultural appropriation?
No, we need to make a distinction between cultural appropriation, people liking unique things.
Mm-hmm.
Because cultural appropriation is, I'm intentionally trying to make fun of your whole not ethnicity, your culture.
Mm.
Literally making, okay, I'll tell you this. I find it funny from a comedic side, the movie Borat.
What's that? What movie is that?
Borat. Have you seen Borat with like a Serbian,
That guy with the curly hair, big mustache.
I think I remember.
This is my home. This is my neighbor.
Is
Okay.
it the one that was like I forgot.
It's a funny movie. Anyways, it's a very funny movie, but the whole problem is that at some parts of the movie it becomes culturally inappropriate
Mm-hmm.
towards mostly like black people.
Yeah.
Because when it says, for example, goes to the hotel and says ding ding bang bang my N-word, it literally shouldn't get to the point that you need to use the actual word to make fun of the
Of course.
whole culture.
Of course. Some people may not, it's wrong regardless, But man, I don't know why it just don't bother me.
No,
Me
it shouldn't
personally.
bother you. Like I understand the vibrant clothes you said before. That's an
Mhm.
example, and I wouldn't mind anyone coming to Greece and say, for example, Opa and smashing like plates down or something like that, even if that's a stereotype.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys do that though?
Sometimes in
During
weddings,
like weddings and celebrations, but not just like,
very unique situations. They don't usually do them.
oh, I'm getting married. Oh, powers. Not like that.
Some parts of Greece do that.
Okay.
Not everyone does that.
How
But
many plates have you smashed?
how many plates I've smashed?
Yeah.
I don't know, couple.
More than 5?
More than 20?
Depends.
That's a stretch. That's racist.
No. But going back to the vibrant clothes thingy, if someone wears vibrant clothes from Africa or specifically from from Nigeria and he's German because he likes those clothes, it's a different thing from appreciating the culture if he knows what those clothes mean.
True.
If saying, "Oh, I love the specific part this thing represents, this piece of clothing or this necklace or something like that," I'm gonna wear it because it embraces this specific part of the culture, and I'm gonna buy this thing because it's bright, it's vibrant, and it's trendy. It's two completely different things, and one of them, if done in excess, buying clothes from every single part of the world because I like to wear them and because I like to show them, that's cultural, not appropriation, but sometimes it's a minor insult to the cultures all around the world. Because if your parents are rich and suddenly you want to buy something of every single country just because you like it,
Okay. I think I get where
you're just doing it to show off.
Yeah.
Then you can do that. It's your own right to do that. But at the same time,
It might be seen as disingenuous.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if I go to every part of Africa and from every single country and tribe in the country, I buy a specific piece of clothing and then I put them in portraits around my house.
It's like memorabilia.
Exactly, and it's different because it says, "Oh, I like this part because
it has meaning and purpose."
Exactly.
That does make sense.
Okay, I can understand that. Yeah.
That's definitely an avenue people can look at it from.
Yeah.
If anything, people should look at it from. You can appreciate things differently. You can actually choose to purchase something or get something, receive a gift based off of the fact that you are eager to learn more of a certain culture or as to why that thing holds a certain amount of importance. You can also choose to buy it because it looks trendy and it's cool. Like no one's going to really hold you for that. But if you hear about it, and or you see a lot of people in that ethnic group, in that culture class, wearing that, taking part in it, and then you feel like you want to do that. So it's like, oh hey, look at me, or you're making fun of. Yeah, no, that's wrong.
Yeah.
That's the thing that becomes an issue. Oh man.
I just think it's important that like as long as it's like the origin of the thing is preserved and it's like you understand where it comes from
Mhm.
and you know obviously you know where it's come, you know about it, then yeah, like you know, if someone wants to get something,
Rock on, man.
yeah,
Of
rock
course.
on. Like it's not like, oh, you've gotten something and then you're just using it for wherever. You don't even know where it's from, you don't know what it is, you just kind of, you might even inadvertently disrespect the whole origin of it, and that's different. But if it's like, okay, I like this, I know where it comes from, I know the background, and you know, then yeah, rock on.
Exactly.
Have
Great
at it.
stuff, man.
Have at it.
Exactly. Well, my people, we have finally reached the end of episode 18, first episode of the new year. A very big thank you to Yace for coming on to this podcast with us. I really appreciate you being on, my friend. But I want to ask, do you have any final remarks? Anything you want to leave for the people? Anything you want to say that we will try to forget after tonight, my friend?
Any last words?
Any racist remarks?
Any racist remarks?
He's
Yeah.
baiting you. Please don't answer that. He's baiting you.
You would love to hear it too, wouldn't
I
you?
would not.
That's on you. You're lying.
Okay. What sort of racist remarks are
I'm
you?
joking.
I told you he's baiting you. Fall for it.
Because it's no, it's not. It's not that I fell for it. It's like it sounds very weird asking me specifically for a racist remark.
Oh, sorry, broski.
He
K, you
literally
got
went-
any racist remarks, bro?
That's
Yeah. It's all right. Anyways, I don't know. Any final words for the people? Any final words for us? Anything you've learned in your own life, broski?
This is effectively your episode, so make it count.
This is effectively my episode. All right. So, okay. One thing I would say is that despite this like podcast being very recent and Leo being a very creative and young
Thank you.
creator,
I am young.
he's very young. He looks 30, but he's young.
Whoa. Personally, I wouldn't have that. That's just me, bro.
No, sorry. I don't mean appearance-wise.
It's okay though. I know I don't look 30, 25, but not 30.
27.
Your dad.
Okay. Sorry. Just to close up.
Yeah.
I really want to thank you for inviting me over. It's been a very interesting conversation we're having, and seeing you guys after 4 long years
I
is
know.
very, very helpful to my own confidence when it comes staying back in the UK.
Yeah.
So thank you for having me,
course.
and I hope this podcast is not my last with you.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Repeat customer?
Yeah,
Why
we're gonna bring him
not?
back. We're gonna bring him back.
Come back, you know.
All right, people, but there you have it. This has been Lion in the Room, episode 18. Please, I would say, use this opportunity to think about it. You have your own culture, you have your own bloodline, you know, things that you can date back to. Embrace your culture. There will be something that you will enjoy. Culture is gonna have good and bad, but be able to find what you enjoy, what you love, because you should still be able to pass it down. I don't know how to speak my native language, but I will still have something to pass on to my generation in terms of the culture, in terms of my Nigerian culture and what I love. Kay's gonna have that, Jace is gonna have that. That's life, but you have to make that choice. But hey people, that's all we're gonna say. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Let your mom know, because I bet you she's always on her phone. Take care people, God bless you. Lion in the Room, we're out.
I like them, mom.
I mean, like, hug your mom, talk to your dad. Hey, do this, bro.